Welcome to the Hockey Writers Inc., the show where the writers are fresh off the presses and the ink is not dry. The ink is not dry, but the guardian of the blue paint turned writer sure has put out a lot of ink over the last few days, and we try to backstop them all. The Russians are coming. With the wave of Russian goaltenders coming into the NHL, Lance puts on his mask and we break them all down on the show this week.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Hockey Writers Inc. I'm your host, Lance Green.
And I'm your co-host, Steel Flyers. Boy, have we got an awesome show lined up for you this week. Woo! How about that?
All right.
Yeah, man, we're ready to dive right into the thick end, I would say.
Sure.
All right, cool. First of all, man, we had a special guest last week. How about that?
That was fun.
That was fun. Jim Jackson, the voice of the Flyers. Man, that was, gosh, I can't wait to see him come back.
Yes. When is that going to happen? Soon?
Yeah, right. We'll have to check that out here. Also, another huge, big salute to Bleacher Report's 10th week in a row. Oh my gosh! Holy moly! That's the big thanks to the Jamie Baskow Flyers Nitty Gritty. Big thanks to that for sure. Also, I'd like to make an announcement. We got a sponsor coming up. It's www.cccrresorts or cccresorts.com. That's www.cccresorts.com. They are a one-stop shop for all of your doggy daycare needs. They got an indoor pool. They got top-notch groomers. I mean, you name it, they take care of everything for your dog from head to toe. And man, I'll tell you what, we are so blessed to have those guys on board, and we can't wait to start showing the commercials and stuff like that. So thanks to those guys, and kudos. I just so happen to be wearing a t-shirt from said sponsor, so
that wasn't planned at all.
Yes, it was. All right, I admit it was planned, completely planned. All right. Let's get into it, folks. We got a lot of hockey to talk about, and we got a lot of great stuff to talk about with our good man Lance, because boy, oh boy. Hoo-hoo-hoo. All right, here we go. Are you ready? Strapped in?
I'm ready.
Got your mouthpiece in? Got a little
never.
Yeah,
never.
I know.
You can't talk trash with a mouthpiece in.
I was just going to say, you can't talk trash with a mouthpiece in. All right, good deal. All right, article number one that you posted just this morning. So, boy, talk about fresh off the press. The ink isn't even dry on this one yet.
No.
That's what I love about this show, is that we get to talk about these articles, especially the ones on Saturdays when you release them out on Saturday mornings, because these are, and I'm not just saying that these are some of your best articles, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I really like reading all your stuff, and I really like the articles that you put out during the week too, because that to me is just like feeding my knowledge. I have learned so much more about prospects and Flyers and goalies and all kinds of crazy stuff just since we've been together, man, for real. So you definitely have the knowledge, man, and that's for sure. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, the first thing we got here is the wave of Russian goalies. And should the Flyers cash in on young Russian netminder invasion? If so, with whom? Like we said, this was the piece he had just posted earlier. And gosh, man, the incoming Russian goalies over the past few seasons surely been rather noticeable. I mean, you mentioned quite a few. Shesterkin for the Rangers, Samsonov for the Caps, the Isles with Sorokin. I mean, why is this, do you think? Why do you think there is all this Russian wave?
Well, I don't know, but let's not forget about Nashville's latest pickup with Askov in the first round this year. Just another one that played in the World Juniors for Russia, of course. Amazing talent as well. I don't know. I love the fact that they're producing them like this. They seem to be putting them out one after another right now. But maybe it's getting like NCAA football. If you need a linebacker, where do you go? Penn State, right?
That's
If you need
right.
a tight end, you go to the Fighting Irish of Notre
Yeah.
Dame.
I mean, you need a running back, you go to Alabama. You
Right?
know, you
So
need
I
some
mean, now,
defensive guys, you go to Alabama. I mean,
right? So I mean, I guess you just look to Russia now if you need a goaltender.
I mean, gosh, I I think I get it. I mean, there's already three really good Russian goalies that are currently in the league. I mean, we got Bobrovsky, which you mentioned, and Anton Hudobin with the Dallas Stars, which we hope he can get back, and Vasilevsky. So I mean, is there something in the water over there? I mean, these guys are
I
all pretty
True.
darn good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's got to be something. But I gotta say, with Russia, when they find somebody, it seems to be, you know, like they take that talent at a young age and they mold it, and they take the time to really, really work with that person and get them to be the best. And this isn't just for hockey, folks. This is for like all sports. Any Olympic sport, they do the same thing. They train day
Oh
in and
yeah.
day out,
Oh
and
yeah.
this is what they do. They eat, sleep, and breathe whatever sport they're playing. Russian like to be the best at everything, and this is just how they're raised. So if you show any kind of talent, that's what's going to happen, and they try to get you to the highest level they can, and it's showing right now with these goaltenders.
And gosh, we didn't even talk about any. I mean, you did talk about the pick there from Nashville, but we haven't even talked about any of the goalies that have been selected, say, just in the last 2 years by other teams, and throughout the draft and everything along those lines. So I mean,
Yeah,
gosh, look, I guess we have to talk about these folks so that we can talk about a few Flyers prospects, right?
yeah,
Okay. I mean, we know that not every single one of the prospects that the Flyers have is Russian,
right.
but we are going to save the best for last. So hang tight with us. We'll get to that. In your article, though, you do mention Alex Lyon as part of the plethora of, or the stable of goalies that the Flyers have built up, with Ron Hextall being the previous GM, and now with Fletcher. And so, give me what's your take on Alex Lyon moving forward?
Yeah, sure. Before that, though, let me speak on behalf of the article. Why I put these guys in here with this. As I got some backlash a little bit on the article saying like, "Oh, we don't need anybody else. Carter Hart's the future." That's not the debate here, guys.
Right.
The debate is uh, Brian Elliott is going to be 36 next year, and we need to start to look to a younger person to take that place of his. So that's where I want to go with this, and I want to take a look and run through these guys that are already in the system for us to explain why I think we need one of these Russian goaltenders for next season. Okay, and with that, we'll start with Alex Lyon. Okay,
Okay.
Alex is 28 years old. He is now entering into his fifth year as a pro athlete from Yale University, a standout star there. Um, the thing I have about Alex, why he couldn't step in and possibly be that guy full time as a backup next year, is his numbers. Okay, to go over a few here. Last year with the Flyers, he had a 3.55 goals against average with a
Eesh.
.890 save percentage in three
Eesh.
games. That's
Ugh.
not good. That's not good,
Mm,
guys.
that's ugly.
Um, and but that was even better than the year before. In two games with the Flyers, he had a 5.07 goals against average with a .806 save percentage.
Ooh.
5 goals a game, guys. Do you think this guy could step in and with those numbers and be a legit contender next year for the backup position behind Hart? I don't see it. On top of that, he only had 11 wins this past season in the AHL. He ranked 43rd in the AHL in total wins, and that was only with the backups and
Right.
everything included. But he was worst of all the starters, and then some of the backups even had more wins than him. He ranked 22nd in goals against average and 15 in save percentage for the AHL. So if he's just a middle of the road guy in the AHL or probably a little less than that, then I don't really see why we signed him back in the first place. And when we have all these talented young guys coming up behind him, and to really have him as the third guy in the death pool right now with the most NHL experience, I just don't see it.
Yeah. Okay. See, I, do you like how I serve him up for you, my man?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I
Okay.
was swinging away there. That was
I
a different
know.
sport reference, but
I wanted you to do this because this is your position. This is what you played.
yeah, this
Okay.
is what I'm definitely passionate about, guys.
Right.
I know goaltending.
Exactly. Okay. All I had to do was just mention Alex Lyon, and I didn't have to say anything else. And all I have to say about Alex Lyon is one word. Are you ready for that?
What's that?
No. Or bye. Or see ya. All right, that's two.
Sayonara. Yeah.
Okay, look. Uh, I don't even have to say anything, just no. Okay. I do not think that he is the next goalie. He should not have been re signed. There are too many other guys that are behind him that are better and younger and faster, stronger. We can rebuild them. You know what I mean? Whatever. But, all right. So, and I wanted to be able to give you the opportunity to explain why we're talking about these guys.
Right.
Okay. Because I believe that exactly what you're talking about here, because I do believe this is going to be something that's not just necessarily going to be for next year. Because we need to put a goalie or two, maybe, in somewhere in reserve to allow for, oh my gosh, what happens if, God forbid, anything happened to Carter Hart or Brian Elliott? What if one of them gets COVID or whatever? What are you going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's at least a week or two time span
At
that we're
least
going to be missing him. And with this crunched schedule
that's four
of
games.
games back to back, it's a lot of games, and
That
that
could be
could be
four or
the
five
difference.
games.
Yeah, and that could be the difference between a first seed and a third or fourth seed, given the East is so tight.
Exactly. Exactly. So, the next goalie that we're going to talk about is, I know somebody that you very much like this guy's game. You in your article, you shine this guy here a little bit, I think, but he's well deserved, I believe, well deserved. And we're talking about Kirill Ustimenko.
Ustimenko.
Ustimenko. Okay,
Yeah, say that five
Ustimenko.
times fast.
Ustimenko. 21-year-old, 17th round, third round, 2017 third round draft pick. I'm with you on him. In your article, I agree exactly with why I think he could be somebody that could step in. You know what I mean? Even though he is only 21, you know what I'm saying? But talk to me, man. Ustimenko, tell me about him.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to see him in this camp, and it would have been great. He's out with a hip injury, I believe. They announced that right before the start of the uh, camp here. So it's concerning in that we're not going to get to see him this year, especially in the AHL once that gets to
Yeah,
start.
because that's where I was having him go.
Yep, he's definitely gonna be in the AHL. But he is Russian, so that's good. To go along with the theory here, if it's going. But he had great numbers in the ECHL this year for the Reading Royals. He kind of struggled a little bit with the quick call up to the AHL. Last season in 5 games, he had a 3.84 GAA and a 889 save percentage, which I think this season would have been a lot better given the fact that we have guys like Wyatt Wiley coming
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
We have Igor Zumala
Zumala, yep.
possibly being there.
Yeah.
A
Maybe
lot
even
of
Friedman, maybe.
Friedman, Moran
Yep.
possibly if he doesn't make it
Whatever.
in the
Yeah.
NHL. Yep. So there'd be a lot better defensive core there with the Phantoms in place as opposed to last season. A lot of those guys like Hag and Myers and
Are now with the
Sandheimer
big
are
club.
gone. They've moved up. So that's why I think that
Excellent
even
point.
with Alex, he
Yeah.
may have struggled a little bit because that crop is moved on and now a new one is coming up the pike. So tough break. Kirill definitely had some great numbers over in Russia, but we'll get to that later compared to Ivan Fedorov. But he did so on a junior level and in the minors over there in the MHL. So that
Not
was a
quite the
little bit
same.
different than
Yeah.
what Ivan's doing over there currently in the
In the
KHL.
KHL. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Makes
that's a big
sense.
thing.
Yep. Yep.
We're going to have to see that, but he is making some kind of uh,
Progression.
progression over here in the States, which I like.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I really like that. I was unaware of the announcement of his hip injury. Is that gonna leave him out for the year, or is he gonna? Because the reason
I
why I
think he'll be
asked
safe
that,
with it. Yeah.
okay, because the reason why I asked that is because AHL is supposed to start in February, the beginning of February, so that kind of gives him a little less than a month from now. You know what I mean? But if he's gonna be done for the season, then that's going to be, hey, guess what? The next guy up, Felix Sandstrom.
Yeah, definitely. With Kirill, he's young, so we'll see if he can come back this season. But it's there; it's a possibility. But I think with what they learned with Nitamaki having all those hip injuries and stuff like that, I think they'll just take their time with him and stuff like
Which
that.
is
So
probably the best for the best, you know what I mean?
probably,
Yeah,
it's a kind of a different season anyway, and it's going to
right,
be a rush to get back into the games and
right.
might just be just as well. So,
Well,
but anyway,
that
Felix Sandstrom.
yeah, that's the next. I mean, the next man up. I mean, there's quite a plethora of folks here that you point out in your article, and he's a little bit older, 23. He was a third round pick out of 2015 draft, and so now I guess he's going to get the spot there where Ustamenenko
With
was.
Lyon,
Yeah.
yeah, with Lyon probably.
Okay. Okay. So he's going to be the next man up then, right?
I think so, and I'm not sold on Sandstrom. He at one time, guys, was the one goaltender that the team thought would push for Carter Hart to battle him for say for the spot in the Flyers. They thought that highly of him. Um, he was great over in Sweden before coming over. His numbers were excellent, but
Yeah.
again, he's one of those guys that was posting those numbers not in the SHL, but in the minor leagues in Sweden. So last season,
Still not a bad league, but
right, but definitely not on par with some of the others.
right.
Last season, he ended up what they thought would be in the AHL to start out with, but through camp and everything, he turned out he was going to ECHL. He did not really do too well down there last season. You would think he would shine in a lesser league, but he had a goals against average of 3.27 and a save percentage of 885 in 25 games played down there. Not the greatest, not the
No,
greatest from
no.
what we thought he would be.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
not
not for,
struggled. So
yeah.
so with those struggles this season so far, he was playing over in Sweden. Again, went back to the minors. He didn't get a shot in the SHL somewhere with this club, even though he was a pro athlete over in the States. He was playing in the Swedish minor leagues this season, and had a goals against average this year of 2.74 and a 9.21 save percentage. So that is better
Better,
numbers for
yeah, that's
sure.
getting better.
I think he's struggled a bit in my
Yeah,
mind making the transition to the North American game. It's a big difference. It's a smaller rink. It's a
yeah,
faster game.
yeah,
It's a more physical game, and it's more wide open over here. I think overseas they tend to play a little bit more defense, definitely in the KHL, but also in the Sigma, in the Liga, in Finland, and in the SHL as well. So it's more wide open over
yeah. Because
here. I
it's much
think.
bigger ice over
Yep.
there. You know what I mean?
So it's easier to play a little bit of defense. But hopefully Sandstrom's really regained his confidence and has come over with a clean slate and starts this year out fresh. We really thought a lot of him when he first got selected. Obviously, a third round pick for a goaltender is pretty high considering. Um, so we shall see. I don't like what I saw from him last year, so hopefully he can progress this season.
Well, I mean, he's obviously gonna get some kind of shot, especially with Kirill out. You
Yes.
know, so he's definitely going to get a shot, and so that means that everybody exponentially moves up. You know, a slot.
Yeah, at least for the season.
Right, you know what I mean? So now suddenly okay, so Felix is going to get a shot now and so the next uh the next player you have on your list in your article that you mentioned is Samuel Ersson, and he's another Swede goalie. And I don't know, man, what do you think? Maybe not with him. I mean, I know
Well, he's
everybody's now going to get, everybody moves up a slot, so now I guess that makes him the backup AHL goalie or
It doesn't. It doesn't. He's not signed, so
oh,
he's going to
okay,
stay put in the SHL. He's playing
gotcha,
in the SHL right
gotcha,
now in Sweden,
okay,
and he's on a horrible team. I got to say, they're not helping him out at all.
okay,
His numbers are kind of skewed then, but we'll look at him anyway. Last season in the SHL, he had a 2.90 GAA with a save percentage of 895. Still subpar save percentage, not the best. And that was in
yeah,
35 games played.
yeah. Goals against is not
This
all that great
season,
either.
yeah, this season it didn't get any better so far. Playing in 15 games, he has a 3.21 GAA with a 903 save percentage. So it's an above 900 save percentage, but his goals against average has gone up. So
Yeah.
they're not helping him out a lot over there for his club. And I still really see him above Felix in my mind. I think he has a little bit more to offer, and he's just playing on a bad club over there right now. So I would like to see him possibly get signed, but maybe not before Ivan. I really like him. So
Okay, well, so now what does that mean now? If he doesn't get signed, does that mean he stays in? Does that mean that Tomac comes up?
absolutely not.
No. Okay. Well, then? All right. Well, yeah. Okay, I'm
Tomax.
grasping at straws here, man.
Exactly, and this is the whole point about the article, guys. All these guys we're looking at in our system to be a potential backup for next season for Hart, and these guys, as of right now, there's most of them are still very young. Most goaltenders tend to take a little longer to develop,
Unless you're
but
Carter Hart.
unless you're Carter Hart and a phenom. But these guys are not doing it right now, guys, and they're not going to be ready next season. Is the whole point to this article? So let's take a look at Tomac. He's 23 years old. He also was a third round pick in the 2015 draft for the Flyers. Right now, he's playing in the Liga in Finland, their top professional league. He has a 2.50 goals against average and a 913 save percentage in 8 games played thus far. But like Sandstrom, he struggles
Mm-hmm.
when he comes to North America.
Yep.
He has played over here quite a bit, but in the college ranks. He played in the 18-19 season for the University of Omaha, Nebraska, or Nebraska Omaha. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and he only played a couple games, 5 games for him, I think, guys. and he had a 4.73 goals against average and
Wow.
a 8.45 save percentage.
Wow.
Not very good numbers at all,
No,
right?
no.
But they far exceeded his 2016 2017 numbers with North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks, which is an amazing team.
Yeah.
They are national championships every year competing for him. So in 2 games played for them that year, he had a 7.46 goals against average. Horrendous numbers, and a 6.92 save percentage. He was stopping just over
Nothing.
50% of the shots that
Yeah, I
came at
mean,
him, guys.
he was stopping nothing. I mean, was
Nothing.
that was after Hackstall left even too, right? Because he was
Yeah,
coach
yeah,
up there. That's why they made
yeah.
all those national championships. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right. So this is concerning for him. He seems to be a guy that is best suited to play overseas, and that's okay. But
we
the
don't
the
need that.
problem exactly that doesn't help us out at all.
Nope.
The problem with that is he's still hanging around. He's still a body. So all these other goalies like Ivan see that depth above him, and is he going to sign even with the Flyers? Because there's so many people in line in succession to this, throne that could possibly take over as a backup position. That why sign when he's playing in the professional leagues, the
Making
top
money.
second most, yeah, making
Yeah.
money. He's playing in the second best league in the world over in the KHL. If he's not going to have a legit chance being backlogged
Yeah.
by all these other goalies. We need to cut the fat, I think.
Uh, I agree with you 100%. And so let's get into the real meat of why we had to talk about these other folks, because that's I I can't even tell you how excited I am about Ivan. I I I, I mean, hey, he's a Russian. Go figure, right?
He is that.
I mean, can we get him here soon? How about now? Is it now yet? Okay.
I wish. I wish.
All
Yeah.
right. I know we have to wait till his KHL contract is done. Is it done yet? Is it
It's
now?
not,
Is it done
but
yet?
no, it's not. But
Okay.
it is done at the end of the season.
Of this
So,
season, like the end of like April, May, or whatever.
yeah, I think as soon as the KHL is done, I think he is a unrestricted free agent, and we could sign him to come over. The question is is he going to? So let's just talk about him for a minute. I know we've mentioned it on previous shows, but
Yeah.
it bears repeating. He is my most excited prospect goaltender that the Flyers own right now. This kid seems to be the real deal, guys. Unlike all the other ones that are in previous succession to him, he is playing in the professionals leagues over there, guys. He is dominating in the professional leagues over there right now. In 16 games this year, he has a 2.19 goals against average with a 920 save percentage. He has
Wow.
a winning record of 9-5-1.
Woo.
Last year, he played in 32 games. He had a 210 goals against average with a 931 save percentage.
Wow.
That's in the second best league in the world, guys.
Those
Okay,
are
and
really
he
comparable NHL numbers.
and and he's 6'8", over 200 pounds.
I know. Can we? Is it? Oh my gosh! Can we sign him yet? Can we sign
He
him?
is taking up a lot of net.
Oh
Let's
man.
just say that.
Well, let me ask you this question. Okay, so look, can you tell we both like this guy? Can you
A
tell we're
little,
both excited about this guy? I
a little bit,
mean, just a
a little
little
bit.
bit, a skosh. Okay, what what would it take for the Flyers to get Ivan to put his name on a contract? And here's a follow-up question to that, because he's going to have to command at least a backup role to come into the NHL, in
You
my
would think.
opinion.
You would
And
think.
he's going to command at least more than $925,000 a year, I would think.
I don't know. I don't know where his head is. It's sometimes pretty hard to get these guys from the KHL over, and I gotta admit, they're living like kings over there, and they're the best thing since sliced bread. The Russians love their hockey, and these guys are, you know, well sought after and taken care of over there. So,
Yeah, we
but
know.
yeah, everybody growing up though dreams. I don't care where you are, dreams of being in the NHL, and that's just what it is. So I think that he could, but like you said, I think he's going to have to be promised the net, at least in the backup role. If not starting in Lehigh, and that's going to put a crunch onto
Oh, that's a
Kirill.
great idea. That is a great idea. I really like that idea. Putting him down at Lehigh
Yeah.
and making him be the starter. Because in that way, at least he's in the system.
Hmm.
He's a starter. He's playing in not really the NHL yet because
Right.
I think maybe it would be best to get him over at least a good portion of an AHL season
Hmm.
to kind of get used to playing on the smaller ice and get used to the system and
Right.
and stuff like that, and then kind of because I mean I don't think you could just bring him right in and just throw him in there.
Yeah, very rarely does anybody. I mean, take a look at what we did with Bob when we had him, Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah,
We took a little time with him. We didn't throw him in the net as a starter, game one. Although we should have. I love, the kid,
I'm here to
but
tell you, I
look what
yeah,
he's done now since then, leaving the Flyers. But that's what it is. That's the business, guys. Um, I just want to see Ivan play, and I want to see him here sooner rather than later.
I agree. I agree. Couldn't agree with you more. I mean, okay, so if we have to wait, does that mean that we can? Because who you mentioned in your article though is Balalov, Baililov.
Uh, Timur Bayloff,
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one.
sure,
Yeah, 5'10" Russian goalie. He did re-sign to play in the KHL for this season, but
he did.
he could potentially be another player that's potentially similar to Ivan, maybe that we could bring in.
I think he's better than Ivan. Honestly, I think he's the
Wow.
best goalie right now in the KHL. With all these guys moving over to start their NHL careers, right now this is the next big name coming out of Russian
Wow.
as far as goaltenders in my
Wow.
mind. This is the next big name.
Wow.
Um, let's go over some numbers for this guy. And again, I like Ivan, but I think, like we just discussed, I think next season, even if we do sign him, he's going to need some time in the AHL. I think he's great, and I think he's going to continue to develop, but I think he's not
Yeah.
there
Yeah. Yeah.
yet
Yeah.
to be the backup to Carter Hart next season.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But this guy is okay. This
That's some
this
lofty
season,
words, man.
I'm telling you, I've watched a lot of game tape on this guy, and he is the real deal. This season alone, well, let's start with last season. Last season, he was a 1.45, excuse me, goals against average, and had a 9.43 save percentage
Wow.
over 32 games.
32 games.
Okay,
What? Wow.
he
Wow.
had
Woo.
right. He
Wait.
had 19 wins in that time span
Wow.
and had 8 shutouts.
Oh, wait. What?
8.
In 32 games.
Right. And if that wasn't good enough, guys, in the playoffs last season in the KHL, over a span of 4 games, you are not going to be hearing me wrong, guys. It's a .071 goals against average with a .975 save percentage
In 4 games.
in 4 games in the playoffs.
So that means they scored one goal in 4 games.
Okay. He went 316 minutes and
Oh
9 seconds of
my
consecutive play
gosh.
games without letting in a goal.
Oh my.
All right.
Yeah, sign this guy.
Okay. So that was just last year. This year, through 19 games so far, he has a 1.87 goals against average with a .936 save percentage. He already has 11 wins this season, guys.
And how many shutouts?
I don't recall.
Oh,
I think a
sorry.
couple. I think a
All
couple
right, okay,
already.
yeah, because you can't. I mean, with all those shutouts that he's had in the previous, you can't not have
No, he already
11
has a
games
couple
under
under.
his belt and not have at least one or two.
He does. He does.
Okay, okay. Holy mo! All right. Switch. All right. I think I like Teamer better.
Yeah.
See, that's why I like reading your articles, Lance, because you have this huge knowledge, especially of goalies, especially of hockey. You know what I mean? And so that's why I like reading your stuff, man. I'm sorry, I don't mean to gush, but okay, we got a log jam here at goal and the Flyers organization, and not really any real standouts other than the two Russians. And Teamer isn't even, and well, actually, neither is Ivan, for that matter, are part of the Flyers at all. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Sure. Why he's not in the NHL already is the fact that he wasn't even sure that the NHL was going to play this year. The
Yeah.
uncertainty of the NHL season was just too much
I
for
mean,
him, pretty much.
I mean that makes sense. I mean, if you didn't know, and that we didn't even know until what, a couple weeks ago,
Right.
that there was even going to be an NHL season. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't blame anybody that signed with the KHL. I mean,
Right. And he's not the only one, guys, that did it for sure. So yes, I think he can. Like I said, Toronto is hot and heavy on him, and I think we should be giving him a call there, and possibly put our name in the hat for his services next year. Um, his sharp angles is what I love, guys. His size isn't a factor in this because he plays such sharp angles to the shots.
yeah.
His quick reaction times allow him to wait to the last possible second to make a reaction on a save. And his once down in the butterfly position, once he's reacted to a play, he stands tall, guys. He covers that top of that net. Even though he's 5'10", he covers it. All right. And the above all thing that I love about this kid is his ability to turn it up a notch. And what I mean by that, all the elite goaltenders have that in the NHL come playoff time. And he has this, as I said previously, with his numbers that showed it in the playoffs from last season. Okay. He has what it takes to be on an NHL roster next season, folks, period.
Wow, can't argue that. I mean, okay. I'm with you. And what do we have to do? How do we have to make his phone ring? I mean, do we have to call collect? What?
I don't know what, certain area codes and whatever has
you
to be
know,
connected to get a call into Russia, but I'm pretty sure Chuck Fletcher's familiar, and I'm pretty sure he needs to be on that phone
either
already sending
one,
scouts over there.
either one. We
Yes.
would take Ivan or Timur. We would take either one. I don't care. Either one. Now that you talk about him now, I would much rather take Timur though. I don't
I
care
think he's the more
5'10".
NHL ready.
Yeah, because when you talk about when you have that clutch capability, when you turn it up during big games, that's what we're talking about. You have that shutdown capability. That's that Marty Brodeur. That's that Patrick Waugh. That's that, mentality coming through. And so, okay, I'll take that all day long. Thank you very kindly.
Right.
So, there's a frost warning going on here in Canada, and boy, it sure really has been hot. Morgan Frost making waves. And your article that you posted on FlyersNittyGritty.com just recently, how badly does Morgan Frost want to earn a spot on the Flyers this year? Okay, so the NFL, or I'm sorry, yeah, the NFL, the NHL will allow for a taxi squad this year, and that's going to be about 4 to 6 players, and we know they have to carry at least one goalie, with Nolan Patrick looking like he's pretty much coming back to form. What does that spell for the frost warning?
Not anything good, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
That was his golden ticket, if you will, with Nolan Patrick possibly not being able to start the season, but with all that showing, he's going to be there, guys. With fingers crossed, Patrick's going to be there. So, what does that mean for Morgan? I think it means the taxi squad. I don't see a place for him unless he's going to play wing. But this kid is very talented, and this is the problem that's going to be there, guys. He's
Yeah.
had 2 seasons in the juniors over 100 points. This guy knows how to put the puck in the net. He knows what to do out there offensively. He just needs to transition it to the NHL, and that's his thing right now. You know, he's has the ability, like very few players do, to be where the puck is going to be ahead of the time.
Yeah.
And only greats like Wayne Gretzky and different stuff could do that. No, I'm not comparing him to Wayne Gretzky here, guys, but he has that same talent to know where the puck's going to be before it gets there, and that's amazing. So
That's a real good. I mean, gosh,
yeah, yeah,
that's what we call hockey IQ, folks.
definitely.
Okay,
You can tell he spent a lot of time on the rink in his day.
but that's good though. I mean,
Yeah,
that's something that is impressive for somebody that's that young and that has that kind of skill, you know what I mean? So, I mean, you point out that the now 21-year-old, maybe he was asked to take on a much larger role than he was asked last year. I mean, with Nolan Patrick out and then with Oscar Lindblom out, and then he was kind of thrust into the fire there, and then when they had the break, you know what I mean? He didn't. He was a part of the Black Aces, and he didn't get to play. But I mean, do you think maybe that was a bit of a larger role that he was asked to play last year?
maybe, but I really wouldn't call it the fire. Okay, given he was given every opportunity, he looked great.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
looked great out of camp. Okay, he looked like he could do it. His, but he was given the chance to play with Konechny and Giroux for his first few games there. So, is that really the fire? I think I could score 20 goals playing with Giroux. All right,
And connect me.
and
Yeah. All
Konechny.
right. All right. I
So
mean,
so
yeah.
the problem here that both the head coach and the GM has said in press conferences, everything with him is not his talent or abilities. That's there, but it's his consistency, his ability to do it
Yeah,
night in and
yeah.
night out.
Yep, yep.
So, with I think 20 games last year with the Flyers, he only scored 2 goals and 5 assists, and that's not what you want to see from somebody with his talents. Okay,
Yeah, and especially playing on
and
lines with like Konechny
right,
and
he's not
Giroux.
playing with scrubs. He wasn't playing with scrubs, and they sent him back down, and that's the thing, that they didn't really trust him to stay up, so they chose to go with instead Connor Bunnaman and different other players, which doesn't say a lot for Frost and in their minds. Okay, and you have to think with that. He went down to the AHL. He did play okay there, but at the trade deadline, what'd they do? Instead of bringing him up, they brought in Derek Grant and they brought
Yeah,
in Nate Thompson.
yeah.
Okay, both centers at his position. So what does that say for the trust in him? Not a whole lot, right?
Okay, well, okay. I see what you mean by that, but I think they brought in those two players specifically to fill a different role that maybe was not the type of role for Morgan Frost, because I think that Nate Thompson and Grant were brought in to be more of the
Grinders, yeah,
policemen, the
policemen.
grinders, the policemen, the guys that are going to protect the stars, those kinds of things. And that's just not Morgan Frost's game.
No.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I asked that question, where I think maybe he was asked to step into that role, and then maybe he's just not ready for that role yet. You know what I mean? And so, but I agree. I agree. You got to be, when you're given the opportunity, you got
You got to
to
be
be there.
ready. You got to
That's
be
right.
ready. And he's supposedly the most NHL ready prospect we have. But he didn't really step in.
Yeah.
And given that when he was on the Black Aces squad in the playoffs, What did he do when Derek Grant went goalless throughout the whole playoffs, and both me and you were screaming for them to put in Morgan Frost? They
Yeah,
didn't.
they didn't.
They didn't. He could have gave him a little offense, jump
Gosh,
possibly, but they didn't.
they
So
didn't.
my thing is, where's the trust? And I don't know, given that, he's going to have to come into this camp as he's starting to do and show something, really show something that
Yeah,
he has something that he didn't last season, because he showed that he was, very talented and possibly could do it last season.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Do you think he's shown enough? He can't make the squad. Do you think he's
I
gonna be
I
on the
don't,
23-man roster?
unless it's going to be him playing wing. And that may be, he may need to show a little versatility. May need to pull a little Scott Lawton and be able to play wing, play center, play whatever AV wants, because he likes to switch up the lines.
Yep.
And right now, the center positions seem to be pretty filled. I don't think that the Flyers want him to come in and play a fourth line role, and I don't think he's that banger. I don't think he's that grinder
No,
that
no.
Scott Lawton could be, possibly,
Right.
as a fourth line center or somebody else in that. I think he's supposed to be more of a goal scorer, more of a point getter, and
So
he's not going to do that on the fourth line. Our fourth line isn't
yeah,
bad comparing to most in the league, but that's not his role, like you said.
yeah, because and that's very, that's limited minutes, and
Yeah,
obviously he's going to be one of those types of players where the more minutes he gets, the better off he's going to be, the better he's going to skate, the better, because of
for
his
sure.
hockey IQ and things of that nature. All right, well, so you don't think he's going to be part of the 23-man roster, so that puts him on the taxi squad.
I would think.
So yeah, okay. Do you feel that the fact that he's not really seen the ice for almost a year? I mean, look, from what I've seen him in camp and from what I've read and everything like that I've seen, that he's having a pretty decent camp. He's shown some thrustles, some guts, right? And he's been doing well and playing well in the scrimmages and stuff like that, and being that being that type of player and showing that kind of, you know what I mean? But I don't think he's going to be there. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Patrick was his golden ticket,
Yeah.
his in with if he couldn't go, and it looks like he's going to be there. So
Yeah.
I really don't know what's the future for Morgan Frost this season with the Flyers. But at some point, I think we will see him. And
Yeah.
the only other good thing that is not a good thing is that he could possibly get in given COVID. Look at all the other teams going around the league right now
Oh,
with
I
the Dallas
guarantee he's going to be on
Stars
the
and
ice.
the
Yeah.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
LA
Yeah.
Kings. I think all have COVID in their locker rooms already. So with that in play, it's bound, just like it did in the NFL, just like it did in the NCAA. It's made its way around locker rooms, guys. So I think that it's going to be his in, and then hopefully he can take off and run with it when he's given the chance. But the only thing I don't like what the NHL is doing now is I think they're still going to require these guys to pass through waivers to come up, even off a taxi
If
squad.
okay,
I'm not
so
100% sure on that,
yeah,
but
okay.
it's
So if they are sent down,
mm-hmm.
okay, then they have to follow protocol to come back up.
Right.
Okay. And what was the other thing that it was? Not if they go on waivers and they clear waivers,
Right.
right? Then they can go on the taxi squad or something crazy like that, right?
Yeah,
Is what they're doing.
it's not a good rule given this year. They should just be able to call players up and down as they want
Well,
this year.
they're also putting in the rule where you can't take a $6 million contract and put it in the AHL. Okay. So, I mean,
That's good, but yeah.
okay, but then what do you do then? How do you work it? I mean, look, quite honestly, I think they should allow the teams to be able to move players in and out as needed based off of what happens with the COVID. I think that they should allow them to have the 4 to 6 man taxi squad, allow that group to travel with the team, skate with the team, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. I do think, though, that if they come from the AHL, they have to pass quarantine protocols and 3 negative tests in order for them to play on the big club. If, say, you're playing, right, and now the guy that you're playing, like, so say, just take a hypothetical situation. Say Nolan Patrick goes down with COVID and Frost steps in and plays for those couple of games. Nolan Patrick comes back. Now Frost has to go back down to the taxi squad. He has to clear waivers in order to go back down to the taxi squad.
Yeah, that shouldn't be.
Right. I agree. I agree, because now that player now suddenly becomes available to everybody else.
Right. I mean, you look at it, I think in the NBA too. I think the Sixers played with like 7 or 8 guys on at last night or the night before. Like, it's gonna happen, and I think they should just. I get it in a sense. I mean, what you look at St. Louis and having a guy like Mike Hoffman not signed. What is he going to play on the taxi squad? Like, are you serious? Like, he's a $5 million player. Like, I don't want teams to be able to pull in everybody that's so talented like that and just insert them and say, oh, he's on our taxi squad. All of a sudden, they now have a 30-goal scorer for, $800,000 or something.
Right. Suddenly Stamkos is on a taxi squad. Yeah, no. So, okay. But either way, we think that Morgan is going to see some ice time this year. Either way.
At some point.
Look, there's going to be injuries because of the way the games and the schedules are set up. I think the taxi squad players are going to be playing a lot more than what people think. Because what I think they're going to do is they're going to roll them. If they're already there with the team and they're already practicing and they're already getting tested and protocoled and whatever, why not roll these guys in if they're already, supposed to be NHL players ready to go, whatever the case is? Why not roll them guys? Why not give those guys, especially on the back-to-back nights, especially on the travel nights or whatever the case is, have some of them other guys step in and take some of the pressure off of some of the other players or give them a break, because we're not getting breaks. There is no all-star break. There is no, any of those other breaks that are happening this year. So I think we're going to see more of the taxi squad players than what people think, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. What do you think, man? I think we got a good one for this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we hit it all, man. That was a good one.
We definitely do, for sure. We'd like to really just say thank you for everybody for listening. Thank you for everybody for your subscribing and checking us out and following us and keeping us flying, for sure. Man, I'll tell you what, Lance, you are the host with the most, right? So what's new coming out? Anything new?
I have a couple ideas, nothing really researched yet.
Okay.
Tomorrow, I think I have some time to sit down and jot some things down on the old laptop. So
yeah, boy.
We'll try to get some new ones pumped out for you.
That sounds awesome, man. That sounds awesome. Look, here we are now. It's the 9th. Okay. And so the next time we do a show, we're going to be talking about live games.
It's exciting.
Oh, sugar. I can't wait, man. We're a couple days away here from puck drop. We got the Philadelphia Flyers facing off against the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's 5:30 for any of you guys that are checking things out here on the East Coast, I believe. And that's going to be on NBC. So the whole world's going to get to watch that game. First game back from anything, and the NHL puts out Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers. So can't go wrong with that.
Can't get any better than that.
That's right. So I'm totally excited, Lance. I know you're completely and utterly excited. Man, tell all the folks how we can get all your great articles and how we can follow you.
Sure. As always, guys, you can see all my latest articles on Flyers Nitty Gritty, also posted on steelflyers.com. And You can follow me on Twitter at LNGBASSIST, the numbers 39.
All right, my man, for sure. I'm your co-host, Steel Flyers. I can be followed on Twitter at SteelFlyers52. You can check us all out, www.steelflyers.com/link/Hockey Writers Inc. Man, get all the shows, all the latest information. You can see the shows that we did with James Hardy. You can see the show that we did with Jim Jackson. You can check out the show we did with Bill Melter. All the great latest and greatest shows, and also you can check this one out. Thanks for hitting the like and subscribe. We'll check you guys out later. Thanks to the guardian of the blue paint, turn writer extraordinaire, Lance Green. This is Hockey Writers Inc., and we'll catch you guys next time.
See you guys.